And we are live.
Excellent. Turn on the recording and admit all. Here we go. Give it a minute, Stephen, and the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Can you hear me? Okay. The September 8th, 2025 meeting of the Oregon Country Fair Board of Directors will come to order. And we'll begin with announcements. If you have an announcement, please raise your hand in chat. Any announcements? John Steinhardt.
I have three quick announcements. First of all, I really want to express my appreciation to Jeffrey, our membership secretary, and his helpers, Heidi, Jenlyn, and Merrill, for the very long days they've been putting in getting us ready for our first hybrid election. I'm a night owl, and it's pretty unusual for me to see people logged in and working away when I quit for the night, but that's what these folks have been doing for more than a month. I'm seeing them on at 1 a.m. working away, so thank you very much for busting on this one. Second announcement, Sunshine Team has been working hard for 2026. We started as soon as we got home from the fair. This is the time of year to let us know if there's things you need to support your role at the fair. Send it to the help desk. But these aren't, if you have a complicated request, we can't do it in June. Need to hear about it now. We don't need to hear about all the bad user interface problems because we know all about them. Last announcement is we still have a few positions on the crew. So especially if you're a good user interface problem, why don't you contact us and we'll put you to work solving some of those problems that you and everybody else has been complaining about. Thanks.
Thank you. Kirsten.
Sorry, I need to unmute. On behalf of the Elections Committee and Jeffrey Ramus, I'm going to give an elections update. He is on vacation. He has had plans since before he took this position, and so I hope he's having fun. So the election update goes like this: ballots will go out September 24th. The candidate forum is on Sunday, September 28th at 4 p.m. Only candidates will be in the Zoom meeting. Everyone else must watch it on YouTube. The annual meeting is Saturday, October 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. You can attend in person or watch on YouTube. The Zoom link is only for the candidates. The ballot return date is Saturday, October 18th at 8 p.m. at the Eugene office. The Elections Committee will be at the Eugene office on Saturday, October 11th between 4 and 5:30 to help with voting questions. Ballots will be counted and results posted on the .net site on Sunday, October 19th. Please email Elections Committee at elections@OregonCountryFair.org if you need to update or verify your email or mailing address. You can also call the Eugene office and they will pass on your request. If you want a paper ballot, please send Elections an email with the request. Please consider our sustainability goals and update your email address for electronic voting. Using paper ballots is wasteful and costly, and electronic voting aligns us with our sustainability goals. The last day to register to vote is Friday, September 19th, and to update your contact information. If a ballot is not received by Saturday, October 4th, please contact Elections so they can troubleshoot why you did not receive your ballot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we see that, and I just confirmed that YouTube is running last month's meeting on that link in the email. Do we need to pause for this or press on? I can't hear you, Kirsten. You're
Sorry,
muted.
I'm gonna get Vanessa on it. Sorry, thank you. I'll get that fixed.
Should we pause or press on?
Press on, please.
Okay. AJ.
Yes. Have a pretty important announcement. The board of directors had a closed session on personnel on August 6th. And as a decision was made in that meeting, and to be transparent with the membership, I want to announce tonight that As a part of that meeting, the board has decided to dissolve the diversity committee. Um, this is in no way a reflection on them. It is the board continuing its training and understanding of the issues surrounding DEI and wanting to give a better direction to the membership and those who are volunteering for us in the future. And so I wanted to announce that tonight and thank the members of the diversity committee who have served over the years. And I also want to thank the board for meeting. These were hard discussions. Thank you for your service, and you guys have a good night.
Thank you. Last call for announcements. Are there any other announcements? Please raise your hand in chat. Last call. Okay. Minutes. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes of the last meeting, the August meeting, August 4th meeting as submitted? Any objection to adopting the August 4th meeting minutes as submitted? Please raise your hand in chat. Last call. Seeing none, the meeting minutes from the August 4th, 2025 meeting are adopted, approved by unanimous consent. And we're on to agenda review. Is there any objection to accepting the agenda as submitted? John?
Yes, I would like to move to strike the EDIB one-year extension motion from the agenda.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to strike the EDIB workgroup extension motion. Is there any member input specifically on removing it from the agenda, not on the merits of the motion itself? I know that might be a little hard, but specifically on removing it from the agenda. Any member input? Is there any board discussion on removing it? Is Teresa, did you raise your hand for this, or do you want to wait for after this?
Both.
If you want to raise your hand for this, speak to whether or not to
I did.
strike it. Okay, go ahead.
I was
Oh.
I was raising my hand at the same time to make a motion to put it back 1 month. And the reason I don't want to just strike it from the agenda is that I don't want to take 2 more months. So if we strike it from the agenda, now we're 2 months out before we can make a decision, and I see no advantage to that. So if we go the other way and just postpone it 1 month, we give ourselves the month we need to look at the 38-page report we got, but we don't need 2 months.
Okay, and you can move to amend the motion to be a postponement instead of a strike, but let me have, your name's popped up twice because you were both going to speak, so I actually skipped John, so let me let John speak first. And if
Okay.
you want to move then to amend it to a postponement, you're welcome to do so. Go ahead, John.
Okay, I want to make it clear first that as the original drafter of the motion that formed the EDIB working group, I'm dedicated to our continuing productive EDIB work at the fair. But to me, this motion stretches our processes too far. The purpose of the EDIB working group was to collect data that would help the board formulate policy. We just received a preliminary report from them 8 days ago. We've barely had time to read it, much less discuss it. This motion was new business in June, old business in August, postponed to tonight where it's old business again. But based on the report, I'm pretty confident we're never going to vote for this motion as currently written. I'm moving to withdraw it because I think it's inappropriate to use it as a placeholder that can be amended at some future meeting, bypassing our new business, old business policy. Amending a placeholder motion right before a vote cuts our members out of the process by eliminating their opportunity to be informed and to give us reasoned feedback. I understand the occasional need to rush motions through our process, but this isn't one of those occasions. There's no exigent situation here. In my opinion, the time to introduce a new business motion on this is after we digest the report and determine our next steps. Thanks.
Okay, did you want to make a motion to amend this to be a postponement, Teresa?
If I, do the drafters have to agree or? is
No,
there
no,
just a
you
second?
simply make that and you
Yes,
have to have
I
a
would like
second.
to do that then.
Is there a second? Is there a second to amending this motion to be postponement to next month instead of striking?
I'll second.
Moved by Teresa and seconded by Sandra. Is there any member input on changing this to a postponement? Last call for member input. Is there any board discussion on changing this from striking it from the agenda to postponing it to next month? John?
Yes, I object to this. It's an abuse of our process. We have a new business, old business process for a reason, and this is kind of twisting it beyond what I can take personally. Thanks.
Okay, if we can, it's not objectively an abuse, it's in your opinion it's an abuse. If we could try not to characterize others. Go ahead, Teresa.
For me, the process has taken longer because this team, the EDIB team, has worked so hard to do it right. And I would like to just honor that the effort they have made. And so there was never an intent in June to be stretching this out. But it did stretch out. Equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging is a big issue. And sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. So for me, it feels like honoring the importance of the topic.
Thank you. So we're using chat still, Paxton, but I've got you down. AJ, go ahead.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say I agree with Teresa, and I would take it a step further. I would add that one of the things that I've learned from the wisdom of Paxton and Sandra over the years is that things at FAIR take longer than usual, and that's just the way sometimes business works in this organization. And if we're going to be patient and get good information, sometimes we need to just be patient and wait for it. And so I'm in support of postponing it. We just received a report that I would love to be able to dive into and be able to make a decision from that information. And I hope the rest of the board will give that report an opportunity and this group an opportunity to continue its work for however long they need to finish it.
Thank you. Paxton.
I really appreciate the change to postponement because I have read the report. I agree it needs digestion in time because there's a lot in it. It's very interesting. And I think it shows some progress about where we want to go. So I really like the work of what they've done so far, and I want to give them more time to do it. And I agree with AJ, it takes time. Everything in the fair takes longer than you expect. That's okay. We get more involvement that way. So I think that's an important part also. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Levy.
Yeah, I'd like to agree as well for the postponement. I think giving folks some grace sometimes for, a big project and things they're doing isn't bad. As well, I'd like to try and organize maybe us meeting with the group to go over the report. I'd love to hear what their thoughts are and how they were thinking about it and have them kind of talk at us about it, so to speak. And so hopefully we can do that next month. Sorry if that's rushing folks, but I think that's something that'll help us better understand the report and do the decision. So I'm for this. Thanks.
Thank you. John Alexander.
Yeah, I'm just going to agree with Teresa and the following folks. I'm not going to repeat that, but I do like that idea, Kevin. And I think we have a work session that just freed up. It looks like it's canceled on the site, but I don't know if that's something we could make done within our rules. The one thing I do want to add to this that's important information is that, you know, I often talk about how important it is when we're making decisions and doing things that are relevant to committees, or the committees have relevant information about them, that we're working with those committees to understand it. And I just want to commend Teresa and Arna for regularly communicating with the EDIB work group to understand what this motion is about and move forward with the motion and keep them involved in the discussions. And so I also think that's another reason why I would advocate for postponing this and you know, talking about it again next month, potentially adding a little bit of focus, but nothing that would be too extreme. So thank you all for doing that and making sure that this isn't just discussion we're having, but it's one that they've been involved in.
Thank you. Last call for board discussion. Don't feel obligated. This is about whether or not to change it from striking from the agenda to postponement to next month. Last call. Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. Sandra, do you want to change this from striking to postponement?
I do.
George,
No.
Paxton,
Yes.
AJ,
Yes.
John Davis. John Davis, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yes.
John Steinhardt,
No.
John Govsky,
Yes.
John Alexander,
Yes.
Teresa Vaughn
Yes.
is absent. Kevin.
Yes.
Okay, and with that, the motion passes with George and John Steinhardt voting no. We are now on postpone. The motion now is to postpone the agenda item to next meeting. We're going to go straight to board discussion. We've kind of already discussed it, so don't feel like there's a need to add more. Is there any board discussion on whether or not to postpone to next meeting? And striking it from the agenda is already off the table, so that's the motion. Is there any discussion on the postponement to next meeting? Seeing none, we will go to a vote. Sandra,
Yes.
George,
No.
Paxton,
Yes.
AJ,
Yes.
John Davis,
Yes.
John Steinhardt,
No.
John Govsky,
Yes.
John Alexander,
Yes.
Teresa Vaughn,
Yes.
Kevin Levy.
Yes.
And with that, the motion passes with John Steinhardt and George Braddock voting no. And the extension of the EDIB work group's time is postponed until the October board meeting. Any other agenda items? Is there any objection to adopting the agenda as amended? Last call? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted as amended by unanimous consent. And we're on to member comments. Are there any member comments? Please raise your hand in chat. Is that, I don't know how to say that, Lawi? Go ahead.
Sorry, I have a new computer and I haven't been able to figure out how to fix that. That's the first 5 letters of my email address. Anyway, this is Lawrence Taylor. Hi. Reason I jumped in, a few moments ago, we heard mentioned several names who are venerable names to those who've been following the institution of fair and fair elections for the decades that they've been volunteers, that being Heidi Doscher, Jen Lynn Hodgson, and Meryl Levine. They were described as helpers to our new membership secretary. They might better be designated as the elections committee, to those of us who respect our institutions and our committees. And I suspect, given the relative depth of their institutional knowledge, that Jeffrey himself would be more likely to have characterized them as guides and mentors rather than helpers. So I do want to give my respect to those folks who have remarkable length. I will let you mention that Heidi Doscher was a very, very long time membership secretary herself, probably longer than anyone else will ever serve in that position. Jen Lynn, civilly on the elections committee and a recording secretary of this organization. And Meryl Levine, likewise, has been on the elections committee for many decades. So again, much respect to our committee members and our committees.
Thank you, LT. John Pincus.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is our regular member input session. I just want to say that it's my feeling that the board has utilized closed meetings way too much. Consequential measures that could be very transparent to the membership are getting made in closed meetings. Regardless of your opinion of the decisions made, it's really critical, especially at this time in history, that we uphold the principle of open democratic governance at the country fair. In fact, we should be a beacon for that concept. Closed meetings do not help us advance in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Last call for member input. If you have member input, please raise your hand in chat. Last call. Seeing none, we'll move to staff reports. Kirsten.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening, everybody. We'll get this started. On the administration front, we had to migrate to QuickBooks Online in August. QuickBooks no longer supports our desktop version and is forcing all customers into the online version. And it now costs us a monthly fee, but it includes cloud backup. The P&L and the balance sheet look different, and we are working to get them in line to line up the way they did in the QuickBooks 2024 version. So please bear with us as we work through this. Our main PayPal donation account was hit with fraud. Approximately 7,000 donations were made to our PayPal account from July 15th through August 6th. Donations range from $1 to $10. The source appears to be from our GiveWP donation link on the .org site. GiveWP does acknowledge a weakness was discovered on July 23rd in its plugin, which they remedied, but it was too late for us and we were breached. We have refunded all of these fraudulent donations. PayPal did nothing to alert us to this. I discovered it when downloading the monthly statement. PayPal did not help us with these refunds and is charging us $20 for every chargeback by the customer. We've had 50 chargebacks. We've removed this donation link from the .org site and replaced it with a new donation link. And we'll be closing this account with PayPal and requesting a refund on all chargeback fees due to this fraud. The event manager position is posted. It'll be posted from September 2nd to September 30th at 5 p.m. Please encourage anyone you think is qualified to apply. The 2024 financial statements are very close to completion. I sent them to the board late last week. I do hope to have those all in the October board packet, along with the 990 and CT12. So if you have any changes to the financial statements, please let me know at your earliest convenience. And as I said, the 990 and CT are done. They're just pending our approval of the financial statements. The annual meeting is scheduled for Saturday, October 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church. This is a hybrid meeting. A Zoom link will be provided to candidates that can't attend in person. And we ask community members to please watch via YouTube if you can't attend in person. The Board of Directors election is Saturday, October 18th, and ballots are due at the Eugene office by 8 p.m. on that day. That includes electronic ballots as well. The candidate forum is scheduled for Sunday, September 28th at 8 p.m. at 4 p.m. via Zoom. And please email questions for candidates to elections@OregonCountryFair.org. On the event management side, the teddy bear picnic was a huge success. The weather was perfect. And thank you to all the volunteers that came out to enjoy the picnic. And thank you to the volunteers that help us put it on. The annual Beaver Open took place August 29th through September 1st. And we love hosting this group, and the tournament was a success. The annual Elmira High School track meet is scheduled for this Wednesday, September 10th. Every year, up to 500 youth from around the state participate. The guideline changes will go live on the .NET site on October 1st, so the form will go live on October 1st, and the closing date will be November 15th. The board will vote on guideline policy changes at the December board meeting. The site, the manufactured home at the winery, is scheduled to be installed this Thursday, September 11th. Final payment has been made. It will take 2 days to set the manufactured home. Then utilities will be connected. Then the interior will be finished, and then we do a walkthrough and get the keys. I anticipate this to be complete by the end of September, early October. I will be adding this to our property insurance. Excuse me. How we will incorporate this home into our operations will be discussed, and details released to the community as soon as known. Excuse me. Commemorative sales are available at merch.oregoncountryfair.org. All of our posters are available, and we will be doing a fourth quarter merchandise sales push. Coulter Jam was a huge success. We want to congratulate Jans and his team for another successful year. Thank you.
Steve, should I go?
Yep, thank you. Go ahead, Hillary.
Okay, thanks.
Treasurer's report.
Yeah, I'm sure Kirsten's coughing right now, but I do want to I do want her to know that I want to give her big props on that, working on those financial statements. The staff and I worked on prepping the initial handover of materials to the accountants, and Kirsten's been handling that relationship with them ever since. And I think this is the year that I've had least encounters with the accountants of any years since I've been treasurer. And I really appreciate Kirsten's professionalism and her familiarity with the material and her ability to respond in a timely manner to the accountants. It makes a huge difference to be able to have the executive director be the person who's their main contact. So thank you. Really appreciate that. I want to thank all the coordinators and the bookkeeping staff for getting the reimbursements done by the end of August. That will help us, and also to the Jill Hyman Vision Fund for getting their count done. That will help us get everything complete earlier than usual. The Fair family will get the first analysis of our 2025 financials from the treasurer. It's going to kind of be in two parts this year. It will start at the annual meeting, which I will be in Virginia for, and we stay tuned. You know, we may have a August 31st date on the report that we use for that meeting, which would be a tentative report, followed by a September 30th date, which would be parallel to the reports that we've always used in the past. So we'll talk about capacity at that point. I might just submit a written report for that and consider whether or not to do a Zoom meeting if people want to follow up after we have the September 30th report. But we'll talk, about operating results and have a projection and, do the usual type of analysis that we do at that meeting. I want to spend a little bit of time acknowledging Sue Kesey's passing and her contributions to the financial life of the fair. There's been a lot of talk about her participation with the fair on the food committee and with the booth, as well as the Dead shows, which helped bail us out in '82. But it's kind of been a little bit under the radar how engaged she was with our financial planning committee. She was one of our founding members on that committee dating back to the early '90s. She served over 30 years on it. She had a very incisive ability to analyze our financials. I often would send her my draft material that I would bring to the meeting, and she would proofread it and we would strategize. She was just very astute, very practical. She hosted us for many years at the Creamery, and then shared leftover ice cream with us at the end of it. She was just an amazing mentor and presence and guiding hand, for the fair and for me personally. I really appreciate her. I really miss her a lot. There's another way that she contributed to saving the fair. Before Kirsten started and the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant had come up, we had applied, we had benefit during COVID, we had benefited from about 6 other federal programs that were all much, much smaller than the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. And when we read the criteria for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, there were at least 3 criteria that it appeared that we did not meet. And so we just kind of cooled our jets on it. And then at one point, Spirit was the first one who said, hey, why don't we go ahead and try? And I called up Sue because I knew she was familiar with the grant. And she and I looked at the criteria and we talked about these specific 3 or 4 questions, how we would answer them, and just what the response would be. And then we were totally ready when Kirsten started and was ready to go and do all the legwork and the document gathering and filling out all the forms and dealing with all the online issues that we had and the appeals that we needed to get it through. But it was that initial faith that we could do it and determination to answer the questions correctly and go for it that really came from Sue, just the faith that it would happen, so she really helped lay the foundation for that. Just want to say it's been a real honor and privilege for me to get the chance to work with her. And I feel like she has given so much to our community and that we just all have really benefited from just her kindness, her generosity, and her skill level that she's, taken us to a different level. So wanted to give that acknowledgement of her.
And that's it. Thank you very much, Hillary. Next, we move on to committee and work group reports. Is there any objection to accepting the committee and work group reports as submitted? If there is any objection, raise your hand in chat. Any objection to accepting the work group and committee reports as submitted? Last call. Seeing none, the committee and work group reports are accepted by unanimous consent as submitted. We move on to old business. The first item on the EDIB work group is postponed until October. And so we are on the motion to amend the bylaws, Article 7, Section 2. It reads Article 2, Section C. I think it actually needs to read, you're amending Article 2, Section C, F, and G. Removal is an amendment. Correct? Is there any objection to that? Okay, hearing none, the motion to amend Article 7, Section 2's C, F, and G. Who would like to make that motion?
I will.
John Steinhardt, who'd like to second?
I'll second.
Moved by John Steinhardt and seconded by Sandra Bauer. And I don't know that reading this will be very helpful. My suggestion is we put on a screen share and have somebody talk about the change. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Is that acceptable for a start? Okay. I've got this. I'm going to go ahead and share it. And John, are you saying you want to talk about it? Or are you the one to introduce it?
Yeah, I think I can probably do an okay job on this. Didn't really come prepared for it. The big issue that this is trying to address.
Actually, John, just before you start, can we make it clear for everyone observing? The C, Article 7, Section 2, C at the top is the current language. And then below the bold revised is the new language and the 2 sections to be removed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the main thing that we're doing here is that the existing bylaws, so there's 4 directors up for election at every election right now. The existing bylaws would let you vote for as many as you wanted as long as you numbered them in order. And I think the intention there was that if somebody dropped out or something, that you'd get to vote for your next choice. Jeffrey put this forward because the online voting providers just can't support this. So we're removing it.
Is that it?
Yep. Pretty much you get to vote for 4 instead of getting to vote for as many as you want.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there any reason to keep this screen share up? Okay, we can put it back up if needed. If not, I'm going to stop it. Okay, is there any member input on this motion? Any member input on this bylaw change? Last call for member input.
I think John Pincus's hand is up, but I'm not sure.
I don't see it anywhere. Oh, I wasn't scrolled to the bottom, excuse. John, have you raised your hand on this motion? I don't think so. I think that's from the last discussion. Nope. Is there any member input? Last call. Lisa.
Yeah. So I guess my question is whether this proposed amendment was published in the Fair Family News.
Anyone provide a concise answer to that?
It would have been in the minutes that were published in the Fair Family News.
Thank you. Anything else? Go ahead, Lisa. You still have time.
So the Fair Family News, we've only got the June and July minutes published so far. So would it have been with those?
Okay.
Are you sure it's not in the August? August would have published shortly after the board meeting of August. So there are August Fair Family News.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other member input? Last call. Proceed to board discussion. Is there any board discussion on this motion? Raise your hand in chat. John Govsky.
Thanks. Well, I just want to first of all thank the work of the people that wrote this up, just because bylaws revisions are never glamorous, but always necessary. And that includes what Lisa had sent the board, which is overlapping with this language as another thoughtful way to look at this. So I appreciate everybody working on this. I do think it could use more work, but quite frankly, I want to get the election moving and do what we need to do to allow those wheels to turn. So I will vote for this on the thought that we are going to revise it a little more as time goes on. And the one thing I want to let people know about is that the election software that we're using does allow for different forms of ranked choice voting. Now, we haven't done that in the past because on paper, it's a pretty of a nightmare to do ranked choice voting, but the computer can do that very easily and gracefully. And so in the future, as we get more people on the electronic platform other than paper, it becomes more possible to look at our voting methods themselves and say, hey, we could look at ranked choice voting, and there are different flavors of that. And there's a reason that's very popular among progressives. So anyway, I just wanted to say, keep your mind open to future possibilities here. But I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. And John Steinhardt.
Yeah, I just want to say that I support this because we're pretty far down the path toward this election, and this is an important piece in order to make it work. I've spent a lot of time on the phone with Jeffrey, and there's a lot of stuff in our bylaws that looks really good until you actually try to implement it. And this was one of the ones that caught our eye. There's actually going to need to be a whole lot more work done to move us into the modern electronic era. But for right now, this is a good measure just to get us through this election. Thanks.
Thank you very much. John Alexander.
Yeah, John Steinhardt, thanks for the good description of this, why we're doing it. I appreciate that. I understand that this is important to get this going on. I really do want to thank everybody who's going for this online voting, and I understand why we want to do this. I do think that when we're changing, I also really appreciate that there's been a lot of discussion in emails and a lot of communications with Lisa and people from the bylaws committee about this, which is also great. I do know that some people get a little nervous when we start messing with the bylaws and making sure that we're publishing them in time and things like that. And so this is an example of a motion that I think would have been really good for us to discuss publicly before it came to us as old business. And so I just want to continue to encourage thinking about those kind of things and making sure we do it so we're not having these discussions and understandings and the kind of input and description that John gave us the night we vote. With that said, I'm in support of it, but I really want to continue to push us to have discussions about the things that we're voting on before we vote on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And is there any other board discussion? Last call for board discussion on this motion. We did find this posted in the Fair Family News. On page 26 of 27, you will find the language there. Last call for board discussion. Okay, seeing none, we're going to proceed to a vote. Sandra?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Paxton?
Yes.
AJ?
Yes.
John Davis?
Yes.
John Steinhardt?
Yes.
John Govsky?
Yes.
John Alexander?
Yes.
Teresa Vaughn?
Yes.
Kevin Levy?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We have new business next month is the appointment Cedar Hill to the Bill Wooten Endowment Committee, sponsored
I'm
by.
sorry. It's a typo. It's Cedra Hill. It'll be corrected in next month's agenda. but
Cedra?
Cedra Hill. Yes, sorry about that.
Cedra. Okay. Appointment of Cedra Hill to Bill Wooten Endowment Committee, sponsored by AJ, Sandra, and Kevin Levy. The next board meeting, I'm assuming we don't need to ask about whether or not to have a conversation about it, even though we're ahead of schedule. Next board meeting is Monday, October 6, 2025 at 7 p.m. via Zoom. The annual meeting is Saturday, October 11th, 2025 at 6:30 at the Unitarian Universal Church in Eugene. And now we'll go to meeting evaluation. Is there anyone who would like to say something for meeting evaluation? Please raise your hand in chat. Teresa?
By anyone, did you mean members or?
Anyone. You're included in anyone.
Okay, great. I wanted to thank everybody for the inputs in tonight's meeting. Jonathan, I'm not sure you're still here, but I really appreciated your call to us to be a beacon for democracy. I do really care about that a lot and appreciated that perspective. And also just really appreciated everybody's professionalism tonight. It was really nice.
Thank you. LT.
Thanks. Yeah, I also wanted to thank John Pincus, but also I was really struck by what Hillary said about Sue Kesey. And when I thought about a person of that magnitude in terms of our community, rolling up her sleeves and getting into the committee work of this organization, it really brought home not only her value to the community, but also the value of our committee system.
Thank you. Paxton, meeting evaluation.
I too appreciate Hillary bringing up Sue's long-term serving on the Financial Planning Committee. I worked with her. I was appointed to the Financial Planning Committee by Leslie when it started, and it was an amazing job of working with her. She was an amazing support for the alternative community, the fair, and all of Eugene. And she helped start so many other alternative food businesses. That she is a winner and is still a winner. The creamery is going to continue. I love their products. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sandra, on meeting evaluation, please. You're muted.
Thank you. Well, this might be stretching it just a little, but I did want to make a comment after the ED report, and to let people know that I think it's little known that for the teddy bear picnic, the caterer 3 days before the picnic was unable to cater the project. So the staff at the very last minute took on the unplanned and unexpected job of buying all the food, prepping it, serving it, cleaning it up. And I thought it was, I think they should be applauded for that. It was a huge effort. So
Thank you very much. Last call for meeting evaluation. Raise your hand in chat, meeting evaluation. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to President's Piece.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I am recovering from a weekend of being very ill, and in that ill weekend, when you're sick as a dog, it makes you kind of think about the important things around you. And one of the things that I thought about is just when we're all engaged and trying to do the right thing, and making decisions, that we sometimes get lost in the fact that maybe our decision or our way is not the only way. And I started thinking about my service to this organization, and really wanting to evaluate going forward, making sure that I'm really working in a collaborative way with my peers, and that I keep an open mind. Someone mentioned that tonight about keeping an open mind. I hope that as we go forward, not just the board here, but in committees and just in our interactions with each other, that we remember to keep an open mind. If we keep an open mind, we might just learn something from somebody else, and it will help us be better. And so I'm reminded again of a quote I said the first year I was on this board. An old wrestling coach told me, "Good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good get better and the better get best." So let's keep going forward. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. And with that, the September 8th, 2025 meeting of the Oregon Country Fair Board of Directors is adjourned.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for
Good night,
coming.
everybody. Thanks, y'all.
Nighty night. Thank you.